Hello everyone, my name is Arden, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be taking a look at LEGO Star Wars set number 75391. This is Captain Rex's Y-Wing Microfighter, a pretty big set for June 1st, 2024. Of course, a $13 set that has the Phase 2 Captain Rex minifigure. A really great LEGO Star Wars minifigure, and building the Microfighter, I was actually quite impressed by the Microfighter and definitely thought it was a highlight from Microfighters that I've built since the subline has come out. So, of course, like normal Microfighters released now, this one costs $13. You get one minifigure and then your Microfighter build, in this case Rex's Y-Wing with the blue and white colors. I think it's a pretty decent looking Microfighter ship. You've got stud shooters at the front. I like the use of the slope pieces as well. I think the back of it looks alright as well. Of course, you can see a few of the Technic bits and different holes that you probably wouldn't want to see, but at the same time, with how small this set is, it's sort of almost expected. But unlike I feel like a lot of other Microfighters, this one doesn't have the play features of the stud shooters that prominent. Like, I feel like in a lot of cases you'll see it stuck up right at the top or right up here or there, where they're actually at the bottom. They're still very much visible, but they're just sort of not as present as I feel like other Microfighters sometimes push them. This one is 99 pieces, and I think it's a pretty good Microfighter build. The Rex minifigure, of course, originally from the UCS Venator, I think is a pretty solid minifigure. I really am actually quite impressed by the helmet print. I feel like with these newer clones, I think the biggest issue has been the printing, especially on that helmet. And I think this one is actually surprisingly pretty solid. The arm printing is really great. I think that looks very nice. There's some variation between the two arms, and I think they look quite nice. His pauldron there is represented and printed on his torso, and then the cloth piece is a very large one that sadly covers up that really nice arm print that you get with the figure. I think that's probably my biggest issue with the minifigure, is that longer one. I wish the shorter one that I believe was used for the mortar trooper from The Mandalorian would have been a lot better of a choice, and a bit shorter, to be able to highlight how good that arm printing is. He uses those new larger, or not new, but newer for the commanders and captain clones that have been really getting it quite often. The waist cape is printed onto the front of the minifigure, and then the leg print is very similar to normal 501st leg prints, and he's got the toe printing that you would expect with any 2020 and onward clone minifigure. The face print is quite nice, with an exclusive face print for Rex. The bandage after Ahsoka is taken out as inhibitor chip is represented there, and that is the Rex minifigure. Placing the minifigure in the actual Microfighter is pretty easy. You have a small seat there, and then you can just fit him in there with or without his blasters, and I think he looks pretty nice in there. So that's pretty much it for this. It's a very small set. There's not all really that much going on, but I think it's a pretty good one, and I definitely would suggest it for anyone like in LEGO Star Wars that wants a Captain Rex minifigure. This is pretty much the best way to get it, and I think a pretty solid minifigure at that. I think improvements could be made to the figure, like a shorter pauldron and adding a waist cape, but overall I'm actually quite impressed with the minifigure, and I think it's one of the better helmeted clones that I've seen, or hold helmeted clones that I've seen, or even from 2020 onwards. I think this one is up with those 187th and that Cody, who I think are some of the better ones that we've gotten since in the last 4 years. I think the Microfighter is definitely a highlight for the Microfighter line that I feel like is definitely dwindling a lot, but I think this one is quite strong. And I hope we continue to see them, because as they've released, I've sort of warmed up to Microfighters. It took me a long while to warm up to Microfighters, but in the last few years, I don't know what it is, I've had more interest in them and have definitely been more interested in going back and getting a few ones that I didn't buy because they just didn't interest me when they first released. But looking at the ones that are currently out, I think this, as well as the Mandos N1 Starfighter, are two really solid Lego Star Wars Microfighters, and I'm happy that they're currently out. So I definitely recommend this Lego Star Wars set. I think it's a very solid one, and I'm quite pleased with the minifigure, which I guess is always a big draw when it comes to these Microfighters, and I think this one is definitely a pretty big draw, more than pretty much any other Lego Microfighter. I think this one has probably the most desirable minifigure that they've ever put into one of these. I guess as time went on, the Phase 2 clone sort of was before the release of the Battle Pack this year, where you can now actually get Phase 2 plain clone troopers, but I quite like this one. I'm really happy I ordered it. I'm definitely excited to get a few of them and just sort of mess around with a few different Rex combinations. I know I ordered an ARC Trooper helmet from GCC a little while ago that I'm excited, a Rex ARC Trooper helmet that I'm excited to put on one of them. And yeah, I'm quite pleased with this Lego Star Wars set, and I hope you enjoyed this review, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.